Hello there you, and welcome to a gigantic Tyranid swarm that's going to be trying to defend this beachhead against some invading orcs. Will the Tyranids be able to hold the line, or will the orcs be able to gain a foothold? Let's find out in today's battle. As always, if you do enjoy this content, do leave a like and consider subscribing, as that's the best way to support the channel. Now, let's get on with the slaughter. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off today's battle, where the Tyranids here are going to have to be defending this beachhead against the orcs who are trying to land on their planet and invade here. The orcs are going to be trying to get a foothold on the beach, and the Tyranids are going to be trying to deny that very much. The orcs here are going to be landing in by these landing craft, only allowing small groups of orcs on the battlefield at any one point. You can see that the first few here have been deployed, and already the Tyranids are homing in. Looks like we've got a lot of storm boys and a couple of shooters here ready and waiting on the beach as our first clash gets underway of the battle here, and up and down the beachhead now. That's it, the orcs are making their landing. The Tyranids here swarming in desperately, trying to hold back the tides of green that have landed upon their beaches here. Will the orcs be able to break through this? Of course, they're going to need a lot of firepower and a lot of chugging and killing here to be able to get through this Tyranid horde. The Tyranids, of course, don't want the orcs to be able to gain a beachhead at all here. Being able to deploy more units onto their sacred homeworld here would be an absolutely disgrace, and they can't allow the orcs to do that. Hence why we've got this massive army here meeting upon the beachhead. You can see exocranes in the background just bombarding the orcs with that artillery style attack there, just swooping in overhead. The orcs, though, they're actually doing it. They're making this little beachhead here slowly but surely, grinding their way through the hormagaunts that have amassed in front of them here. Lots of brood warriors, though, still on that front line. The orcs are going to have to be really careful against these guys. Look at these long talons, able to easily slice an orc in half with one foul swoop. But the orcs are making really good progress at the moment, actually gaining a beachhead, holding ground here. The worst thing that could have happened is if the Tyranids broke through the orc lines here, and then they started pushing them back towards the boats. The orcs don't want that. You don't want to be trying to fight your way off the boats. You want to be, onto the beach and running. And this is going absolutely magnificent so far for the orcs. They've managed to hold a nice section of the Tyranids, at least in the center line here. Things are looking a little bit dicey in other areas. We have still got some gaps that the orcs need to rapidly plug here, especially if they want to hold this beachhead. But look at this. There's so many reinforcements now for the orcs are starting to pour in. This is getting really good, especially on this side. The side I'm a little bit worried about is over here. It's looking like the orcs have been pushed back just a little bit too much on this side. Yeah, so we've only got a thin spattering of troops over here. And look at this, the Tyranids are actually pushing the orcs back. This is kind of scary, guys. The orcs need to start making some headway here. We need to clear a path up the beach. Look at this. Oh, God, yeah, that's really close to the landing boats now. The Tyranids are actually breaking through the orc line. Look at this. Oh, no, this is terrible here for the orcs. The Tyranids now have almost reached the ocean. The orcs are going to have almost no deployment room on this side. This could end up being a slaughter on the boats as the orcs try to get off the boat. The Tyranids might just end up killing them here. The orcs have desperately got to push that back. That is a deadly position to be in. And it doesn't help that we've got a high concentration of brood warriors here. Look at that, just stabbing their way through the orc masses. The orcs are trying to break through, but it's hard, man. This is a hard fight for the orcs. Getting off the landing boats and straight into a Tyranid's mandibles is not exactly your idea of fun. Look at what's happened on this side as well. Very similar affair here. Oh, look, one of the landing craft has actually now been completely consumed. The orcs unable to land on this side of the field anymore. Anyone who's coming off that boat instantly killed, pretty much. The rest of the field is holding out quite nicely, though. Like I said, the only part that is worrying is this little center line here. Let's quickly just hit a very small time-lapse camera. I want to see if the orcs can actually push them back just a little bit here. Okay, so I think it's official at this point. The orcs are definitely not regaining this beachhead anytime soon. What they're going to have to do then is they're going to have to try and hold on to this little area here. This last little strip is the only thing that's holding back the orc flank here. Now, we have got a decent number of troops in, but look at these guys coming off the landing boats here, surrounded by brood warriors and hormagaunts. They barely stand a chance. Now hive tyrants are in the mix as well. The orcs that are landed on this side are just getting absolutely slaughtered. So what we're going to really have to hope for is that the orcs on this side are enough to break through that defense here. I mean, look at all these exocrane artillery rounds just firing in. Now, we have got a decent amount of shooters on this side of the field, ladies and gentlemen. The orcs here lighting up the Dakar very effectively, actually. This could be really good for the orcs. But, oh, look at this. There's a massive amount of troops that we've got on this side. The orcs have been doing really well on this side of the beach. Again, all that Dakar that's built up over here really helped out by the looks of it. The Tyranid struggling to hold back the orc masses here, even with the hive tyrants on that front line. The green tide is pouring forth onto the beach, and it seems like there's little that the Tyranids can do about it at the moment. How are we doing on our very far flank over here? Go have a look. So the Tyranids are actually outflanking the orcs a little bit. Kind of surprising. I was thinking this might be one of the areas where the orcs would be able to stabilize just a little bit. But obviously, sheer weight of numbers here from the Tyranids is starting to play an effect. Yeah, look at that. A bunch of choppers there just getting absolutely swarmed. And on to the next target there for the Tyranids. Now, we've only got hormagaunts on this side of the field, interestingly. Look at this. There's absolutely nothing else over here, just a sea of hormagaunts. That could be really good for the orcs. They might actually be able to break the back of this. Now, obviously, the areas where I'm worried about again. Let's get back over to our shooters. Over this side here, the orcs on the beachhead are still struggling to get down. They're being deployed into an absolute slaughter. I feel so sorry for the orcs. I mean, look at this. They're being deployed and surrounded by, what, 10 brood warriors? So as soon as they spawn in, they're just getting sliced into the brain. Oh, look at that. The last stand here. It's our last hope. Our last outlet of defense in this area. Again, a large amount of hormagaunts on the side. Not really any heavy units, so there's a good chance here that the orcs might be able to hold it, though I'm a little bit worried about the amount of brood warriors over here. Again, guys, absolutely, they are the deadliest in melee combat on the field at the moment. Flank is looking a little bit weak. Can we get some more of the Dakar focusing over here? Take down some of these brood warriors. Again, the brood warriors are the ones that are wreaking havoc. Don't get me wrong, hive tyrants, very, very strong units, really good deflect. But it's just the small maneuverability of the brood warriors here that really starts winning the day for the orcs, for the Tyranids. But yeah, look at this. We've got a lovely little body pile starting to appear here. It's been a very back and forth fight, both sides pushing and pulling here. The orcs deploying more and more units onto the field to try and hold back this Tyranid flank. And they've got to hold that back at all costs, quite frankly. One thing that might start happening is that we might start getting melee units stuck behind our range units here. Because as all the range units are bunched together, it's making it really hard for the melee to pass through. Could be one of the reasons why we don't have massive amounts of reinforcements on the front line over here. But of course, the Dakar is making up for it with the covering fire that they're laying down. How are we doing on this side, guys? Okay, so yeah. Over this side, an absolute disaster of a landing here for the orcs. They've not managed to gain a foothold on this side at all. Let's go back over here because look at this. The Tyranids are pushing it down to the riverside, the ocean side here as well now. Another collapse has happened. The orcs have only got this one pocketed foothold then, realistically, that they've actually managed to properly secure here. And that itself is under heavy assault. I mean, look at all these hive tyrants on the front line, man. That's a lot of firepower for the Tyranids, and they're all backed up by brood warriors. This flank is going to give way pretty soon. But again, look, it's this firepower coming in from the boys with the Dakar. That is really helping win this day. The shooters in the background providing that covering fire. There's actually a chance here that we could break in half the Tyranid army. Look at this. This is all the reinforcements here. If we break through here, there is a chance actually, yeah, that if we break the Tyranid army in half and put it into two separate areas, that could be really good for the orcs here. How's this flank holding out? Okay, good. We just had a massive surge of melee units come into it because that flank was looking a little bit wobbly for a second there. But yeah, that was a good old chunk of melee units there that came running into the rescue. I'm really interested to see what happens here. I want to see if we can break... Oh, we have! That is official. Look at that. The Orcs now have broken the center line of the Tyranids here, having established a foothold on the beachhead. The Orcs push forward and they have broken the Tyranid army in half. Now if they can start capitulating on this, moving around and securing it, making it so that they're fighting two armies, so that there's no concerted effort here from the Tyranids, that'd be excellent news for the Orcs. It'd also allow them some free movement on the beachhead to deploy more units. Because this has been an absolutely brutal fight here so far, ladies and gentlemen. Neither side really pulling ahead in terms of kills. But one side definitely has more units than the other. So the Orcs here really need to stop picking up this kill count if they want any chance of being able to pull this ahead here. Like I said, there's, what, about 40,000 kills in it between the two teams? That's pretty crazy. That's pretty close. Especially when we're talking about Orcs and Tyranids. That's not a lot at all. But I actually think these shooters have been so effective at holding back that massive swarm of Tyranids. I mean, look at the Hormagaunts. They're getting lit up down here. Even the Hive Tyrants are getting lit up by the sheer level of Dagger on the field today. But here we go. The Hive Guardians are also here to return the Dagger favor. We have got Exocranes bombarding it as well in the background. So the Orcs have definitely got all the work cut out for them. It's a shame we've got no more Orc units. I'd love to have some killer cans or some war trucks, a couple of looted Lehman Russes on the field. That'd be really nice. Sadly, it's not to be so yet. Maybe in the future, hopefully someone can work on them. That'd be fantastic, guys. Imagine a killer can striding around the field. It looks so cool. But again, look at this. The Orcs, magnificent job holding off that beachhead. Oh, have we... I think we've still got a little bit of a beachhead over here then. Okay, I thought this side had almost completely collapsed, but no, the Orcs do still hold a little slither of land over this side somehow. I don't know how they haven't been completely outflanked, because that's looked like what was happening earlier. But the Tyranids are also starting to run out of reinforcements on this side. Again, if the Orcs can hold out, it could be another area in which they could break the back of the Tyranid army. And speaking of breaking the back of the Tyranid army, look at this. The Orcs now have created this clear funnel. There is an actual solid landing area here now for the Orcs. They've established a little bit of a beachhead. Better than nothing, I would say. And now it's just going to be a slow, brutal grind here as both teams fight it out. Are the Orcs going to be able to hold back all these Tyranids that are encroaching upon them? I mean, it's looking pretty dicey here now. Both teams at 700,000 kills, but the Orcs have only got 250,000 left compared to the 1 million Tyranids. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to be doable here for the Orcs now, but they're certainly putting in that work, and they've already broken the back of the Tyranid army here. Now, even though the Orcs are completely outnumbered, a lot of them are in Tyranid form, are in Hormagaunt form, which are extremely weak units here for the Tyranids. Let's face it, in this game, they're extremely weak. Really good in melee, they can slice and dice like the best of them, don't get me wrong. But yeah, when it comes to bullet sponges, they flop over like soggy wieners. But at the moment, look at this. Fantastic, glorious countercharge here by the Orcs. A big flanking maneuver coming out. Really interested, actually, because the Orcs have closed at that kill count. The Tyranids were 40,000 ahead constantly. And now the Orcs have sort of flipped it around a bit, and they're only about 3,000, 4,000 kills behind the Tyranid army now. Somehow they've captured up 30,000 kills there. Fantastic by the Orcs. So, what I want to do very quickly is hit a little bit of a time-lapse camera here and see what starts to happen with this Orky flank. Will the Orcs be able to push down the beachhead here, or are the Tyranids going to squash any of the plans? We'll be back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately here for the Orkies, it looks like their invasion is actually starting to falter. For a second there, they were looking so absolutely fantastic, almost outflanking the poor old Tyranid army here, but yeah, it looks like sheer weight of numbers invading a Tyranid planet. What were the Orcs thinking, man? They just wanted a good old scrap, and that's exactly what they got. But invading a Tyranid planet without the proper support here. Where's the rock? We need a giant rock to come down and crush a bunch of Tyranids. That's what we need right now. And you can see the shooters here are absolutely under assault now. From the Hormagaunt masses just charging over them, eating them up, gobbling them up, consuming more biomass as it's needed. Actually, to be honest, the shooters are doing a really good job here. Look at that. They're taking out a ton of the Hormagaunts with them. In fact, look at that front line of Hormagaunts there. It's just literally melting against the shooter line here. That looks fantastic. But we are down to our last 10,000 orcs here, unfortunately, today. Now, I've got to say, a lot of these are still in Dakar form here. We've still got a lot of guns, so it's not over yet. They can still inflict some serious pain here on the Tyranid hordes, which is exactly what they're doing. The Hormagaunt masses here are being thinned out as they try to encroach upon our remaining shooters here. Let's hit another little time lapse and wrap up this battle. Back in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final stand of the Orky gods here. And Gork and Mork are not going to be happy about this one. But them shooters here, the Ork Dakar, they killed almost 100,000 Tyranids just defending this one area all by themselves, as the last of them here are cleaned up on our battle. I think it's safe to say, ladies and gentlemen, that we can be calling this one here. Unfortunately, the Orcs did not win today. But as always, I do hope you had a blast. I know I did. Please do comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. A massive shout out to all you channel members who helped keep this channel going. And if you're not a channel member, why the heck not? Click the join button down below. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out the amazing ChaoticPinky store. We got some really cool merch over there. With all that being said, as always, until next time, peace.